My name is Anthony Mason Sr., and I've been married for 12 years, a total of 19 years together. We actually dated for 7 years before we actually got married. Yeah.
So I'm Constance Craig Mason. Actually, it's Constance Craig on Facebook. I have to change that. But I've been married for coming up on 12 years. September 30th will be our anniversary. We've been together for 18 years, believe it or not. I was 19 when I met him, so it's been a long time.
Okay, who came on to who first? I would definitely have to say she came on to me first. I was a bus operator with the MTA at the time, and I was at a recovery point, and she was there waiting for, I was on the number 19, and she was waiting for the number 10. And we just sparked up a conversation. And to make a long story short, at the end of our conversation, she says, well, are you going to ask me for my phone number? And I said, no, because that wasn't why I was talking to her. I just enjoyed the conversation. So she said, if you can tell me the first 3 numbers of my phone number, I'll give it to you. So I figured I was going to get it wrong. Not because I didn't like her, it's just, okay, this is 1 in a million. So I told what it was. I said, I think it was 276. She said, oh my God, that is my phone number. So she gave me a phone number, and then we've been going ever since then.
We joke about that all the time. When I met him, I had just come out of a relationship. So it was like everything about him when he came into my presence was vivid. You know, I remember the shirt he had on, what he smelled like, everything. And I had him over for dinner at the house, and he was like, I came on to him, but whatever.
Yeah, we've had some challenges. When you speak of 19 years together, in this day and age, that's a milestone. That is definitely a milestone. But what I enjoy and respect about Constance is that she has the ability to, when, for lack of a better term, when I'm wrong, she has the ability to lovingly disagree and allow me to keep my integrity. So that's one of the things that I really love about her, that she's able to do.
Yeah, well, I hadn't had a lot of relationships prior to him, but I had enough to know the difference. And he has always been consistent. You know, he's a man of his word. He was someone who I could be comfortable around. So I learned how to be authentic through him. You know, he never made me feel like I had to be older or be anything more than I was. So I really appreciated that in him as a person. And he respects women, not just me, but I notice I'm a good judge of character when I meet people. And I find that he loves his mother, his grandmother, his sister, he adores them. And he does the same for me. So, my grandmother told me something when I was about 8 or 9 years old that I had nowhere to put it at the time. But she said, if a man doesn't respect his mom, he will never respect you. And I did experience that prior to him, and that's when it all came together. It's like, wow, that's what she meant. But by that time, I was about maybe 16, so it started to make sense. And then when I saw him and how he treats his mom and the females in his space, I was just like, wow, that's the difference, so.
When I think back, my defining moment was I didn't have to ask her how to be loved. She wanted it, and it was great because I didn't have to explain that to her. And that was wonderful based on relationships I had prior. You almost have to explain everything. And it was just a chemistry that was incredible. Not that it was perfect, but it was just something about it that I couldn't explain in my own nature. So that's how I knew that had to be the defining moment.
That thing about Anthony that makes me bubble on the inside is, believe it or not, when he wears the color red. Dark-skinned guys and red, something about it. That's what happened that day when he came to my house. He had on that red sweater and a red cap, and okay, so that's that. But yeah, I just love seeing him in that color.
One thing about Constance that makes me bubble on the inside is, well, my nickname for her is Sunshine. And it would have to be her smile and hearing her voice. Like after working all day, and if I'm in one part of the house and she's in the other, and I know that I just heard the car pull up, but when she walks in and she responds or speaks out for me, just hearing her voice that she's there, that does it for me.
I can't really say it was a moment. I feel like it was moments leading up to it. Like I said, I met him young. You know, he was 37 when I met him, and I was 19. And it took about 6 years for us to decide to get married. In that time, you know, of course, I was impatient about it, but I guess something in him clicked because he was already mature and had already been married before, and maybe he saw the difference in living with me or experiencing me and in the previous relationship, and he probably felt like, well, why not? You know what I mean? Where it took a lot for him to get to the place where he even thought about marriage again. So, you know, that for me was amazing because all of those years, in the 6 years, I was kind of feeling like, well, why not me? You know what I'm saying? But it had to be something in him that said, she's the one. You know, because prior to that, he had, I'm not doing it anymore. And it was like, wow, so he's ready to do it again, and it happens to be me. So.
Well, Constance, I just want to say to you that when we met, I had no idea that you would become my wife. I knew that there was something special about you, and I just couldn't put my finger on it, and I knew that that had to be God. I am lost for words to tell you that how I feel on the inside about you, and we've been through some things together, and today is one of those moments that I'm going to remember for the rest of my life, and I love you very much.
Anthony, today is an amazing day. We're here with all our family and friends, of which we didn't get the opportunity to do the first time. But I just want to say that you are an amazing man. I love and adore you, always have. You've been a best friend to me, an amazing father to our kids, and I just can't wait to see what God is going to continue to do in you and in me and in our family and friends as well.
Well, I don't think it was a defining moment. I think it was defining moments that were leading up to it, and I feel like you just thought one day, well, why not her? It's been almost 7 years, and why not?
Go. Well, my actual defining moment was when I knew that us meeting and being together was not of my own doing. I knew that God's hand was in it. Amazing.
Well, my advice is to always keep God first, and to always remain that love and respect that you have for your partner. The same love and admiration that drew you together is what you should emphasize as the years go by.
Well, I was always told that the best advice is no advice. But what's important is communication. It's always better to listen than to speak. So listen first. Communication is important to keep that line of communication open.